Now, ladies and gentlemen, Valve's latest update to Counter-Strike 2 is officially over a month old, that being a real bug fix and not a meme of an update taunting the player base. In the last we heard or saw from the devs, there's been next to zero movement or talk of anything coming soon. More so just things we already know that are guaranteed. The biggest thing that's coming soon is the 2024 Copenhagen Major update. This will either release at the end of this month or possibly early March, which will bring brand new souvenir packages, which could lead to some new skins for new collections, maybe a brand new iteration of stickers, and then the obvious, that being stickers and capsules themselves. But what about the rest? There's recently been a discussion about the current meta inside Counter-Strike 2. Going from Counter-Strike Global Offensive to Counter-Strike 2, weapons weren't changed, just the entrant and the introduction to the subtick were. And over the past few months, players have found new interesting ways to play the game, specifically with the MP9. This thing is an absolute tank. It either needs a nerf in all areas or just one, that being with stats, price, or the elimination reward. Today's video, there's much to discuss, such as what Valve is going to release next, but specifically what players actually want, such as a case. We're going to discuss all that alongside a bunch more. Today's video sponsor is Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is a buying and trading marketplace where you can trade off your old skins for something new. All you do is log in with Steam, then you trade the skins you no longer want to pick up the new skins you want to obtain. Any remaining cash from trading goes to your balance that can be used in any future trade. By using my code Mando, you can get up to a free $5, and if you choose to deposit alongside using my code, you get a total of a 35% deposit bonus. With Skins Monkey's large variety of skins, they also offer daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. If interested, it'll be the top of the link in the description below. Firstly, for today's video, I want to talk about CS2's very first case and when we should expect it. Well, this isn't news to you guys, but simply, we just don't know. But what we do know, based on updates we have to get, such as the Major, a case release either has to happen long before the Major update arrives to Counter-Strike 2, or a couple weeks after the 75% off sale is concluded. So if we don't get a case within the next few weeks, I think, in my opinion, we're getting it too close to get anything anytime soon. Now, dating back to that PC Gamer article that they have with Valve, they stated that year one is for fixing the game, and most players have said that Valve is most likely just trying to get Counter-Strike 2 esports as ready as possible for the very first Major within the next month. That meaning all hands are on deck at the Counter-Strike dev team, that being for the Major and not anything else. If you look back to Counter-Strike's most recent Major sales and how long they've lasted, the majority of them are 2 to 3 months long, and since these would be quite possibly the very first bits of content added to Counter-Strike 2, let alone to Counter-Strike as a whole within the past year, Valve is going to want to milk the ever-living shit out of them and keep them at full price, but also have the 75% off sale last as long as possible, leaving time to release or work on new content at an all-time low. I guess in that time that these things are on the shop, they can work on something new, but they're probably going to be working on still fixing the game. Now, this is just my opinion and all speculation, so take this with a very large grain of salt. I believe we're going to see CS2's very first case within the next month, and if that's not the case, no pun intended there, we're not going to get it until the very bare minimum 2 weeks have passed from the Major sale leaving us, and then that will lead us into the summertime to get a case. Now, my reasoning behind this and why I think Valve will most likely do this if we don't get a case anytime soon is Valve almost never overlaps a big update. An example is an operation. They're not going to release a new case or even a capsule or something as small as a music kit all at the same time while the operation's on. Even when the Counter-Strike dev team is actively doing something and releasing new content, being active on social media, getting updates like a case release, a capsule, or an operation are pretty rare and they're pretty special, and they want to make them like that. And that's all talk about the future, but what can you expect right now and in the coming weeks from the CS dev team? The biggest things, in my opinion, are going to be bug fixes and minor changes before the Major. Based off Valve's update history, updating before a Major, almost nothing major changes, no pun intended there. This gives professional teams the best practice without having to adjust to new changes right before the big moment. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, but we'll also hop into right after this, if Valve, let's just say, were to nerf the MP9 or nerf a eco-round weapon, that could change the outcome of a game quite a bit. And that takes times for teams to adjust and relearn strategies and redo things, because otherwise when a team would have bought, they now have to save, and that's just going to be very different on paper, and they're going to have to, well, take some time to get used to that and practice around it for the Major. This, in my opinion, will come either within the next couple of weeks, or just like Counter-Strike's case situation, we're not going to get it until sometime after the Major, that being the 75% off sale has left Counter-Strike 2. The MP9 overall right now is just a beast. Now, its kill reward is no different, just like every other SMG, it gives you $600, but the thing is, it only costs $12.50, which that might not sound like a lot of money, which it's not, but playing as a CT, getting a $600 kill reward for only $12.50 with the firepower it brings you. You can go up against a rifle, long, close, and mid-range. It's quite the bargain. Let's just say you're in a round and maybe only one person on your team has all the cash that can drop weapons. Well, instead of buying 2 M4s and maybe something else for themselves, they can just drop everyone MP9s, and they're actually quite viable, especially on a map like Mirage. This weapon right now is the jack of all trades. You can jumping shot, move while shooting, rush better than the P90, and play very aggressive. If we do ever end up seeing a change to this thing, I think it's going to be very similar to the Scout, where when the Scout was really overpowered, you can jumping shot with 100% accuracy. That being well scoped in or also just running around the map. You did have to stop every once in a while if you did want to hit a walking shot, but it was very possible. And the nerf to that didn't really put it into the ground like the R8. It's still quite usable, and a lot of oppers still use it when they can't afford an op. Maybe they might change the MP9 to make the thing closer range, like an SMG is supposed to be. Maybe making it harder to move as much while shooting, maybe upping the recoil, or maybe having the spread of your shots more difficult while you're jumping, moving, you kind of get the rest. As it goes for an MP9 nerf, in new metas inside Counter-Strike 2, there's going to be more of an in-depth video on this later this week. So long story short, if we don't get a brand new case to Counter-Strike 2 within the next 2 weeks full of cosmetics, I don't think we're going to see anything anytime soon. At the very least, 2 weeks after the major sale has been concluded and left Counter-Strike 2. Is there anything that you guys would want to see changed or added to CS2 that's obviously not an operation that, well, is in the range of possibility? Leave it down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys.